So I think a bigger rider, if that came a rule, you'd be like, yeah, it's still in favor of them, but okay,
Yeah,
okay,
it's
let's try it.
something. Okay, speaking a little bit of rules, you going from MotoGP to World Superbike, because MotoGP is, to the best of my knowledge, pretty unlimited when it comes to equipment. They can, I
Mhm.
mean, there is some rules to it, but vaguely, World Superbike is like a production level motorcycle that is enhanced, where MotoGP is a works level machine that is enhanced. And so being on some teams that might necessarily be like factory teams for MotoGP, are they still anywhere competitive to some of the factory guys versus World Superbike if you're in somewhat of a satellite team versus a factory? Do you understand my question, or if am
Mhm.
I alluding
So
to?
like the factory and satellite team, are
Yeah, are
they
they
close or
closer
far?
in MotoGP than World Superbike?
Oh, that's that's not a one answer fits all situation. I'd say when I was in MotoGP, it's probably around 7 years ago now, there was more of a split. So the factory teams didn't want the satellite teams winning the championship. It's not a good view. So say when I was riding for Ducati, um, and by the way, I was two-time podium finisher in MotoGP. You missed that earlier on my entry. When I was with Ducati, basically we got the bikes, factory bikes, and then the Monday morning we got to test the factory bikes, and it was all in pieces. And I said, well, why don't I just use the bike of Andretti and only from Sunday? Let me use that on the test Tuesday, and I know where I'm at if I have got it or I haven't got it. So basically, it was like MotoGP has a seamless gearbox, but on a satellite bike, only first, second, and third would be seamless, and then it would be standard for fourth, fifth, and sixth.
What do you mean by seamless? It just talk
So
to me like
see,
I'm stupid, because I
so
might.
if you hear a MotoGP bike on the TV, you don't really hear the shifts. It's like wow.
Yeah.
And basically what it is the next gear is already turning. The when you shift the gear, it already goes in. Whereas on a conventional gearbox, it's like blah, blah, like the engine cuts, you hit
Yeah.
the gear and you build your RPM again. So MotoGP is almost like automatic with the gears. So you're saving time every shift. It might be a thousandth or half a thousandth, but when you have, I don't know, maybe say 40 shifts in a lap and you save half a thousandth of a second and you put that into a race, there's time to be saved. So my bike had first, second, third seamless, then fourth, fifth, and sixth was not. So I had half a gearbox compared to factory. And then the factory would have like 300 RPM in certain gears. I wouldn't get it. Then they would maybe have a different type of airbox, which would give a little bit more top speed. So it's not big things, but
Mm-hmm.
imagine you are, say, imagine now you are Alex Marquez on a satellite team racing your brother on a factory team, and you had those differences. You don't really stand a chance in the end because you've got a great rider with the best of the best. You're a very, very, very good rider, but maybe you're a tenth slower than your brother, but your bike is losing you another tenth. So throughout a lap is two tenths. Over a race of 20 laps, like 2 seconds, you're not going to win. But good bit came is over the years, slowly they brought that together. And a couple of years ago, Jorge Martin won the MotoGP World Championship on a satellite bike. Towards the end of my MotoGP career, this was a thing where satellite teams were getting factory bikes, which made the racing more closer and for me is better. So now you've got Marc Marquez last year on a satellite bike fighting for wins against Pecco Bagnaia, Jorge Martin, those guys. And now you have Alex Marquez, second in the world championship, second to his brother most of the time, but he is there because the bike is maybe 1 year old, but it still has all the components to give it more or less full performance. But the factory team will be developing the bike throughout the year. So maybe Alex Marquez will kind of lose a little bit throughout the year, but the actual base of the bike is very good as a factory bike.
Hmm.
World Superbike in Ducati, I'll speak to Ducati because I know a bit more from my situation this year. They base it, you go to them, okay, we want to run Ducati. They say, okay, which package do you want? This package is, I don't know, 100,000. This is 120,000. This is 160. This is 180. So the more you pay, the better bike you get, which in my opinion, that's fair because it's a business for Ducati, but you have the option. In the past, in MotoGP, it was like, okay, you want a Honda, that's the Honda you get, and that's all you're given. There's no development, there's no nothing, that's it. So the Ducati thing now is good, and I think also the Yamaha is similar as well. Like you see, because you have guys on satellite bikes that are able to win races or be podium contenders, which shows that the material of the bikes is quite close. 20 years ago in MotoGP, you had 40, 50 seconds from first to 10th place, whereas now you have maybe 10 seconds or 15 seconds.
Hmm. Yeah, I didn't know that about the packages. And who's responsible for paying for that? Like, if is it the team that says, hey, we want this? Or for instance, let's say the team is willing to do 120,000 for package B, but you, the rider, really want package A for another 50. Are you able to come up with the 50 to get the package? Or
Well, yeah, if you want to do that, and that was my situation this year, is I had to pay a lot of money to basically pay for the packages of the material of the bikes.